Hello guys, my name is David Fields and welcome to Fieldskills. I've got my fire going, and today's video we're just going to cook a little lunch, an easy lunch we can bring with us to the woods to have some nourishment, some sustenance while we're out here in the woods. So we've got our fire going, going to build it up, get a good hot bed of coals, and we're going to cook lunch out here today. Just a quick, easy little video about eating in the woods. So be right back. Alright, our fire's getting hot. What we're going to cook today that I brought with me, and I brought it in the packages so that I could show you exactly what it is. And let me run this camera, but we're going to have long grain and wild rice mix. This is just a rice-a-roni type of deal. It's a Piggly Wiggly brand, just a generic, very inexpensive, but that's long grain and wild rice mix. We're going to slice up some beef jerky into it, give it a little protein in there, and cook this in and let that dehydrated or dried beef jerky rehydrate. And then in the end, we may throw in a bag of ramen noodles and some of that seasoning just to add more body to the overall lunch. And then I brought along some Folgers, coffee singles, to make a cup of coffee. So we're going to boil some water for coffee. We're going to take our enamel pot here that we keep at the camp and get started simmering this, we just add 2 1/3 cups of water, a little bit of margarine, or we can use olive oil in that. Stir in this mixture, bring it to a boil, and then let it simmer for about 25 minutes. So it doesn't take long to cook. Alright guys, we're going to take our pot here. Brought my water bottle right here. And let's add some water to this pot. That's about close enough. I'll set that right there because we'll be using that again soon. And we're just going to take our pot hanger here, run our toggle through it, and get that over the fire. Alright, I've got my pot over the fire, just hanging from my tripod there to get that water boiling through that. So take just a minute, we'll get it boiling, then we're going to add our wild rice mix in there and then let it simmer for a while. We'll raise that pot up off the fire and let it simmer, cover it, and cook it there for about 25 minutes. Okay, while that water's heating, I'm going to put the top on it, see if we can get that boiling a little faster. It's about 3-4 inches off the fire, so shouldn't be but a little bit, and it gets started. But let's begin by prepping this is just a pack of Jack Link's beef jerky. We're going to open it up. And it's pretty well chunked up. Let me get, as you can see on my little thing, I carry a small condor I found. It's about a 3-inch knife, makes a great little cooking processing knife, and we're just going to slice some of these bigger chunks of this beef jerky up into bite-sized pieces, anything we see very big. We're going to add to our rice mix here in just a minute. Tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to add it back into my pack just now that we got that cut, and we'll just dump the pack in there when we get ready to. And now what we're going to do is add this and the rice mix together, and then we'll add the ramen noodles at the end. Because let's see how our water is doing. Wood to this fire. It's a little oak. Get that fire going good. In just a minute we'll take that pot off, pour in our mix, start the simmering process. Alright, our water is boiling, so we're going to raise that up, get that off. And we're going to add our wild rice mix. Just pour it in. There's the seasoning packet for it. And the rice. Pour that in. add the wild herb seasoning packet. I'm not going to add all of it. I'm going to hold a little back, season that to taste. Put our top back on. I'll lower that down some there. Our tripod. And let that simmer for a while. A little stir around. There we go. Hang that up. And we're cooking. I've got my water here heating for my coffee. Oh, I forgot my jerky. Pour that beef jerky in there. Let it start rehydrating. Okay guys, our long grain and wild rice mix is simmering over the fire. I've got my water heating for my coffee. Just going to talk a little bit about this. Of course, I brought it out in the box just to show you what you can find in the ramen noodles. The ideal thing is to get Ziploc bags. And I've talked about this in my sustenance videos. But take this, put it into a Ziploc bag before you go. Put your coffee, your seasoning, even your ramen noodles, and create a meal pack out of that Ziploc bag. And you've got everything you need in one place. Pull the bag out. You've got all of your foodstuffs for that one meal. That would include, in that Ziploc, put your beef jerky if you were going to do this. Now, ideally, you may not need to use the beef jerky. I'm out here today keeping my ears peeled, eyes peeled for a squirrel. You may be out, kill a squirrel, kill a rabbit. Any type meat source you could put in there, boil it down good, add this wild rice mix. You wouldn't need your jerky. Save it for another time and cook up squirrel and wild rice. So let's let that simmer. We'll give it another little quick stir. And about 25 minutes there and we should be ready. Looks like my water's beginning to heat up there. Oh, that looks pretty good. Little mix, little stir up there. As you can see, that stuff is steam coming off of it. It was boiling when we put it in. So now it's just simmering and absorbing that liquid into the meat, the beef jerky we put in there, and to those rice and noodles. Alright, let's give this just a little taste test here. See how that's coming along. A piece of meat. Get you a close-up right there, and let's try this. It's getting close. The rice is still a little al dente, if you will, but we're close. Alright, looks like we're about ready. Take that off for a second. We're going to take our ramen noodles. As you can see, we're just going to break these up. Those noodles in. Just using my little toggle on a string that will just drop right down into there. Catches in the mouth and I can pick it up, put it down off the fire. Just a little simple trick using a toggle there. But I've got my water for my coffee. Go on and get that. I could do with a cup. These Folgers singles are really nice. You can get them Maxwell House, about any flavor you want. Just like a tea bag. Put that in. That is hot, so I better get some gloves on. Pour in a cup of water, and I can set my hot water back over here. And just do your tea. Let me get my wings out so they don't get hot against it. Just let that steep, I think is what you call doing tea or coffee. Let that sit there and steep for just a minute. Again, see how that looks. Gonna get my little pot hook here. Set it on our little table. Set my and let's see how it does. All right. Look at that. Meat, rice, noodles. You can see there's a little of that beef jerky. Now that's good. That's a solid meal right there. That jerky is nice and tender. Cooking it with that rice, it is rehydrated. You can see it's kind of plumped back up. The meat, the noodles, and the rice. The flavoring, it didn't, you know, if you remember, I didn't put the whole flavoring package in, so I could add to if needed. Flavor is great. Those are, in the words of Alton Brown on the cooking channel of the Food Network, that's good eats. Try out, let's see how this coffee tastes. Good cup of hot coffee. It's the one thing about using, this is the GSI cup, it nests at the bottom of my water bottle, my clean canteen, is that with hot drinks, that metal gets hot. But this, one more look at it, guys, it's good eats. It's hot, a good hot meal back in the woods.